This is our missing mom. Yep. And this is a nice symbol.
We still have hope.
The search for Savannah Guthrie's 84-year-old mother has turned into one of the most intense investigations in recent memory. Nearly 50,000 tips, hundreds of agents, foreign DNA with no match, and still no Nancy. From high-tech pacemaker tracking to shocking search warrants just miles from her home, every new detail raises more questions than answers. How does someone vanish in plain sight? And who is responsible?
For that DNA from a glove and inside Nancy's home, 0 matches turned up in the FBI database.
That is a big blow, but it's not the end. The DNA inside home has been sent now to genealogical testing.
The nightmare around Savannah Guthrie just refuses to fade. Her 84-year-old mother, Nancy Guthrie, vanished from her Tucson home on February 1, and what started as a terrifying headline has now turned into a sprawling, high-stakes investigation. Nearly 20,000 tips have poured into the FBI. When combined with leads sent directly to the Pima County Sheriff's Department, that number climbs to roughly 50,000. It sounds impressive. It sounds hopeful. But hope feels thin when days stretch into weeks, and there is still no sign of Nancy. Authorities have cleared the Guthrie family, including siblings and spouses, calling them cooperative and gracious. They are being treated as victims, not suspects. Still, the case has faced roadblocks. Gloves found near Nancy's house produced DNA, but when that DNA was run through CODIS, the FBI's criminal database, there were 0 matches. For many watching closely, that was a crushing blow. Yet investigators insist it is not the end. CODIS only includes about 4 to 6% of the population. That means most people would not show up in the system anyway. As days pass, public emotion swings between optimism and fear. There are yellow roses placed in support. There are reward offers growing larger. The FBI is offering $100,000. Crime Stoppers has matched that with another $100,000 after a personal injury lawyer stepped in. The message is clear. Someone knows something. The clock is ticking.
Meanwhile, this morning, the sheriff hit another roadblock, saying the gloves found near Nancy's house produced no DNA matches found in the FBI's database of criminals.
The foreign Na found inside Nancy's home may be the most important clue in the entire case. It does not belong to Nancy. It does not belong to her family. It does not match known helpers like the pool cleaner or gardener, who have reportedly submitted their own samples. And it does not appear in CODIS. That leaves one powerful option: genetic genealogy. This is the same method that helped catch the Joseph James DeAngelo, known as the Golden State Killer. Decades-old DNA samples were compared to public genealogy databases like GEDmatch. Investigators did not find a direct hit at first. Instead, they located distant relatives and built out a family tree until they narrowed in on DeAngelo. He was arrested in 2018 and is now serving 13 life sentences. Another case that showed the power of this technology involved a man named Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez. In August 2023, he and killed Rachel Morin, a 37-year-old mother of 5 in Maryland. His DNA did not match CODIS either. Through genealogy, investigators traced him using distant relatives. He was found 10 months later in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and is now serving life without parole. Now, the same science is being used in the Guthrie case. Investigators are reportedly sending Nancy's unknown DNA sample for genealogical testing. The process takes time. Experts say it involves identifying distant cousins and mapping out family lines. It is detailed and slow work, but it has solved cold cases that were 40 or 50 years old. In a case only weeks old, that could mean a breakthrough is closer than it appears. Still, there is an unsettling truth. The presence of foreign DNA inside the home suggests there may have been a struggle. It suggests close contact. It makes the case feel personal and targeted, not random.
Another ransom note that was received, and this one claims that Nancy may be in Mexico. Do you believe it?
I mean, I'll just be blunt. I do not, and I think that we need to stop discussing them because it encourages more people to continue to do this falsely.
Another twist came in the form of ransom notes. One claimed Nancy might be in Mexico. Investigators have treated these notes carefully, But experts have expressed doubt. The concern is that false claims can distract law enforcement and encourage copycats. Geographically, the idea is not impossible. Tucson is less than 2 hours from the border at Nogales, Arizona. Crossing into Nogales, Sonora, Mexico is often described as simple when driving south. However, there are many cameras capturing vehicles entering Mexico. Border areas outside official crossings are rough desert terrain, not easy paths for transporting an elderly woman. The FBI has confirmed contact with Mexican authorities. Given the proximity, federal police counterparts in Mexico have reportedly been involved from the beginning. Officials have said there is no current indication Nancy was taken across the border. Still, the investigation cannot ignore any possibility. The cartel rumor has hovered in online chatter, especially because of activity in the Nogales region. Yet there has been no evidence tying organized crime to Nancy's disappearance. For now, the Mexico theory remains just that, a theory. Meanwhile, law enforcement continues reviewing gun purchases in Tucson. They are attempting to connect buyers to a distinctive holster seen in released images. Investigators have also examined photos that may show a suspect wearing a ring. Every detail, no matter how small, is being studied.
37-year-old man. He was detained when law enforcement served those 2 federally approved search warrants, one of them during that traffic stop when they pulled him over in a Range Rover, and the other one took place at his home where he lives with his 77-year-old mom. And the address for this person, it is to a home that's worth roughly $1 million. It is in a very nice neighborhood about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's house.
One of the most dramatic moments in the case came on February 13, when law enforcement executed 2 federally approved search warrants tied to a 37-year-old man named Luke Daly. He was stopped in a Range Rover near Culver's in Tucson. At the same time, a SWAT team searched his home, located about 2 miles from Nancy's residence. The property is reportedly worth around $1 million and is in a well-kept neighborhood. Daly and his 77-year-old mother were detained during the search. They were later released. His attorney issued a statement claiming Daly has no link to Nancy and no knowledge of her disappearance. The Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos described Daly as a person of interest but not cleared. Evidence taken from the home is still being processed. The sheriff made it clear that release does not mean elimination as a suspect. This careful language has fueled speculation. Observers noted that messaging around Daly differed from earlier cases, where individuals were quickly dismissed as unrelated. The difference in tone suggests investigators may be digging deeper. Authorities have also reportedly visited gun shops with lists of names and photos, asking if any customers looked familiar. It is a broad move, possibly a fail-safe strategy. With 400 agents and deputies involved, law enforcement appears to be casting both a wide net and a narrow spotlight at the same time.
Have deployed a high-tech signal sniffer on a low-flying helicopter to try and detect a signal from Nancy's pacemaker.
It's actually very new technology. Also, we need to remember a pacemaker only emits a signal about 30, at most 100. So this thing on a helicopter is going to have to get very, very low, which is really impossible for a helicopter to do. It makes more sense to probably put it on a drone, simply because that can get a little bit lower and hover for longer.
In a move that sounds like science fiction, investigators have deployed high-tech equipment to search for a signal from Nancy's pacemaker. Pacemakers emit short-range radio frequency signals, typically within 30 to 100 feet. To detect such a signal from a helicopter would require flying extremely low, which presents challenges. Experts note that pacemakers transmit very low power signals, and only every few minutes. The device being used, sometimes called a signal sniffer, can pick up radio frequencies and filter them by type. It is more commonly used in search and rescue operations in forests, avalanche zones, or disaster sites. Sweeping an entire city with it would be difficult. Still, authorities are using every resource available. In addition to this technology, companies like Apple and Meta have reportedly offered assistance. The scale of the operation is massive. Nearly 400 personnel are working the case. The FBI is known for sharing very little publicly, often keeping details tightly controlled. That silence may mean more is happening behind the scenes than outsiders realize. The rewards now total $200,000. Public appeals continue, yet officials warn the case could take weeks, months, or even years to resolve.
An Arizona law firm released a statement to 12 News in Phoenix identifying their client by name as Luke Daly. The law firm says it can confirm that Luke Daly was the subject to search warrants issued and served on February 13, 2026. Mr. Daly and his mother were both detained by law enforcement while the search warrants were being executed.
Controversy has also surfaced about a possible contaminated crime scene. There were reports that a business card from Arizona Adult Protective Services was found at Nancy's front door. Questions arose about whether someone from that agency walked through the scene after it was secured. If so, critics argue it could complicate evidence collection. The sheriff has brushed off concerns, suggesting the card may have been related to a neighbor's call. These debates matter because defense attorneys often challenge evidence handling. If any suspect is charged, claims of compromised evidence could become central arguments. Observers have pointed out that releasing and then re-securing a scene, adjusting perimeters, and allowing access can create vulnerabilities. Despite the tension, law enforcement maintains confidence. Officials believe the crime was targeted. They suspect the masked individual seen on Nancy's front steps may not have acted alone. There could be an accomplice. The emotional toll is clear. Supporters still say it is never too late to do the right thing. Nancy has not been declared dead. Without proof, she is treated as alive. The investigation remains a race against time. For now, the story stands at a crossroads. 50,000 tips, foreign DNA, genetic genealogy, a person of interest, high-tech tracking, border rumors, and an 84-year-old mother whose family waits for answers. The case is not cold, it is burning. And until Nancy Guthrie is found, every detail, no matter how small, carries the weight of hope. Weeks have passed, but this case is far from over. With $200,000 in rewards, advanced DNA testing underway, and investigators refusing to back down, the pressure is building. Somewhere in those 50,000 tips or inside that single strand of foreign DNA may lie the truth. Until Nancy Guthrie is found, the questions will not stop, and neither will the search.